guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're watching Avatar: The Last Airbender. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are watching episode 4 of season 1 of Avatar: The Last Airbender, the live-action Netflix series. Ugh. Anyway, episode 4. So the things that I'm looking forward to coming up is definitely King Bumi. I just keep remembering the armpit hair, so I'm hoping that it's not too distracting. I think that's really the only thing that could really throw me off in the entire series, is something that is so utterly ridiculous in animation, but amazing, and transferring it to live action. So just a little bit worrisome there. We kind of got a couple glimpses of him in the last episode, but it wasn't really enough because Bumi is his own episode, and I'm happy about this. One thing that I really liked from the last episode is how we had our characters branching off and having their own storylines that happen in different episodes in the animated version and combining them. And I thought that that was really brilliant writing. I think that really worked well for the telling of the story. The one thing that it doesn't really work well for is that they're really supposed to be working together. So that bothers me a little bit, but I like that they're not automatically, have this kinship. Like Sokka, said, it's just you, Katara, me, and this flying ball of fur, that's like him kind of like being a big brother to Aang. And it's not so blatantly obvious, like how we have Aang that just is always like staring at Katara and, falling in love with her. And, they need those moments, but they do need to be earned because this is real life. It is live action. So they do have to behave like humans and build relationships the way humans do, not the way animated characters do. So I'm okay with it not being super blatantly obvious. I like them building and earning those moments. And I think that like once they are earned, it's going to be like really wholesome, and we're going to be very touched and happy about it. Now, definitely we got the introduction of Jet, which was awesome. I like live action Jet better than I do animated Jet. He did a great job. He's awesome. We had the Mechanist and Tio, which I really liked them and their whole arc in the first season. But that does take place at a different location, and it's at an air temple. So I don't know how that's really going to affect the airship, because obviously being up in the sky, it's a lot easier to fly an airship. Being at Omashu, I don't know if that's necessarily the best place for that, but just saying. And then, we haven't gotten the whole story of the Mechanist yet. And, I don't know if they're going to reveal that he's building weapons, and maybe not for people that you want him to be building them for. So we'll see about that. Now, definitely, like I said, we saw Bumi. I'm assuming that we're seeing Bumi because they took Aang captive. And I'm really looking forward to that. And I was very concerned about Zuko and Iroh being separated. And I was like, oh no, please do not ruin Zuko and Iroh's storyline. And I did kind of forget until I thought about like, oh, when are we going to see the spirit and the forest and that storyline? And I was just like, oh yeah, I forgot that Zuko saves Uncle Iroh. Spoiler alert, I think by now if you're watching this, you've already watched the live action series. if in case that's not the case, Nathanael, please put a spoiler warning just before what I said to skip. But yeah, like I kind of forgot about that and where it landed in the first season. So, and I do remember from the trailer them having their back-to-back fight. And I think it's going to be against Earthbenders, and I think it's going to be amazing. One thing that I am so excited about is seeing Zuko do his thing, but his story arc, like, because him and Aang very much parallel each other story-wise. I always know that I'm going to love Aang's arc because it's a hero's arc, and it's not that Zuko is even an anti-hero. He just becomes heroic in a way. And, Zuko alone, the Agni Kai, I think I'm going to have a really, I'm getting choked up right now, that I'm going to have a really hard time with that episode. I think it's going to hurt more in live action because the animated series, it's easier to suspend belief because it is a cartoon. When you watch a real human go through those things, that's why it took me a really long time to get into horror movies, because I had a hard time seeing real people being hurt. I think that one's going to... I think it's going to hurt real bad. Nonetheless, still looking forward to it because I am probably a masochist. I must love the pain because I love crying about it. I love feeling things. I love having feelings. So looking forward to that-ish. Yeah. But like with the last episode and having Jet and all them introduced, it kind of cleared the way for kind of the deeper parts of the story and the more meaningful parts of the story. And I think that was great to combine things that you don't have to heavily concentrate on to move forward. But I still think that they're going to be in the fray, probably in the next 2 episodes anyway. But I'm really looking forward to getting into these next couple episodes. So guys, let's get into it. Oh, Into the Dark. That's so cool.
Save your voice. Earth Kingdom soldiers aren't particularly tolerant, even under the best of circumstances.
Well, thank you, Uncle Iroh, for being here.
It's good to see you, young Avatar.
And Zuko. They captured him too?
With any luck, he's probably halfway back to his ship by now.
He started the fight and left you behind and ran away.
Nope, that's not what happened,
I'm really
kiddo.
starting to see what kind of person he is.
Oh.
I doubt that.
Yeah, me too.
What do you think will happen to us?
God, that lighting is amazing.
Is it true? Were you working with the enemy?
Here we go.
It's complicated.
No, it's not. It's a simple question. Were you helping the firebenders?
You're gonna break his heart.
Yes.
It's to keep him safe.
I was trying to protect you.
Is that what you call giving weapons to the enemy?
Weapons? No, just minor designs. Nothing of any value in war.
Anything can be turned into a weapon in the wrong hands.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with the Fire Nation.
We do what we must to survive.
My father would have never done what you did.
He was probably never in the position to have to make that choice.
Exit prison.
Are they gonna go? Are they gonna be in the rocks? I'm looking forward to the rocks. I don't know if that's a thing. Hey, Zuko, baby. Zoink! Looks good, kiddo. Good job. 100 years ago.
Hey! Oh, hey, Boomy. How's training?
He's so normal
I'm
looking.
doing all right with my forms, but shaping is hard. Looks exactly like a sky bison. It's supposed to be a badger mole.
Oops.
You sure?
Well. The snorting.
My brother, the Fire Lord, sees things through only one lens. Victory or defeat. Nothing else matters. Not even the loved ones lost along the way.
That's why Zuko's so hot to catch me? So he can win this war? For his dad?
No.
Zuko's victory lies not in winning the war, but in winning his life back.
You could show him this isn't the way. He'll listen to you. He owes you that much.
On the contrary, it is I who owe him. Far more than I can ever repay.
Am I hearing leaves on the vine?
Impossible. Omashu's prison is deep in the heart of the mountain, surrounded by solid rock. The only way in or out is through the palace.
Sorry, I can't even concentrate on this right now.
What about the tunnels?
Tunnels?
The secret tunnels, hidden under the mountain. It's said that the founders of the city used them to meet without anyone knowing.
A fairy tale.
You told me you've seen them.
Oop. Doop. Did.
Unless that was a lie, too.
Oh, yeah, you need to help your son right now.
There are tunnels, but they're unstable. Those who go in never come out.
Take an
If
earthbender with
believe
you.
the tales, vengeful spirits guard the passages.
So, not just secret tunnels, secret haunted tunnels?
Spirits in the tunnels?
Even if I could figure out a way to get them through the tunnels, there's nothing I can do about the palace guards.
We'll worry about that. Just help us get inside.
This is an interesting take.
Where are you taking him?
To the pit.
An Earth Kingdom labor camp for prisoners of war. No one who's been sent there has ever been heard from again.
I mean, you kind of have a buddy at the top. I'm sure you would have been fine.
You're going to see the king.
The Firebenders made it clear. Any resistance and they'll send everything they've got at us.
Let them come.
Oh, Tio.
The Avatar has returned to the world. It's time to stop hiding. It's time to fight.
Fierce little kid. I love it. Oh, look at this. The pit is awesome. Oh, I guess it's not the pit. That's where Ira was going. Never mind. Don't listen to me. Sup, Boomy?
Your Highness, the prisoner you requested. He was caught fighting, destroying property, menacing the people. And he's an airbender.
Lotus root, pine bark, dried jasmine.
Sit down for dinner?
Lotus root, pine bark, dried jasmine, scalding hot water, steep for 2 minutes. Tea?
Okay.
And you're wrong about him. He is the master of all 4 elements, the savior of the world, the Avatar.
Uh-huh.
And he's very, very good at rock skipping.
So he doesn't have to go through the tests?
Boomy?
Hello, Aang.
Boomy!
Easy.
How are you still alive?
Clean living, the right diet, ooh, and luck. But more importantly, how are you still alive? I'm still a child.
It's a long story.
Huh. Ooh.
Too hot.
Pine bark? What idiot told you to put pine bark in it?
You did.
You did.
Throw him
A feast?
a feast.
Okay, I really like the part about testing Aang in the animated series, but you know what? If we could skip it and just see the relationship, I'm okay with it. Ooh, a water pouch! Oh, yay! You might want to dump out that whatever's in it and clean it. Hey, Jet.
You betrayed us.
I stopped you from killing innocent people. Not everyone out there is the enemy.
If you stand against us, you are.
Speaking in infinites, that's not good.
You've forgotten what you're fighting for. You told me to remember my mother. I remembered she never wanted bitterness to fill my heart. That's how I know you've ended up on the wrong side. You're not fighting for anything you love. You're fighting because of hate.
Yeah. That's my
Just like the
Katara.
Firebenders.
I am nothing like the Firebenders.
Oh, hell no. Atta girl. Let's see it. Water whip. Yes. Dope. Good job, Katara.
Bye, Jet.
Look at the power you have. That's because of me.
That wasn't you. That was me.
Atta girl.
Sir, I was assigned prisoner transfer duty, but I'm late. And if my commander finds out, I'm already in enough trouble this month.
The old firebender was taken to the pit. The other one's still here.
Other one?
Yeah, the bald kid. The king wanted to see him.
Zuko.
Well, you're just gonna stand there?
Pit.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah, what are you gonna do? The pit, the pit, the pit, the pit.
For your meal, I offer you 2 choices.
Uh-huh.
Short ribs from Kangaroo Island. They practically jump into your mouth.
Why did that laugh remind me of Surge from the Normies?
And the other, seaweed stew. Heard it really helps with your complexion.
Seaweed stew. You're a vegetarian, kiddo.
I'll take the stew. I don't eat meat.
Yep.
Good choice.
Is he still testing him?
Was this a test?
What? A test? No. A game. You always liked games, didn't you? Frozen in an iceberg for 100 years, huh? The world is on fire. People are dying, and you got to sleep through it all.
All the airbenders were wiped out, and I wasn't there to help them. It was a tragedy, and it might happen again, which is why you need to let me go, so I can save the waterbenders. This is important. Don't you care?
Care? You dare tell me I should care?
Not loving this portrayal of Boomy. Not loving it at all.
Have you watched your whole world burn down around you? You may be 100 years old, but you haven't lived for 100 years.
Can't make me believe you've lost hope.
Challenge accepted.
I'm gonna see it through. I'm not really liking the way that this is being portrayed, but I'm gonna see it through.
Do you hear music?
When you find yourself in darkness and all you see are rocks and
Oh my god!
Well, good. Grab that, would you?
a precious gift lies buried deep inside.
Shake it.
So dig a bit and
I'm so happy right now. I totally forgot about the lovers of Omashu.
jewel of my heart.
Alright, Sokka. You feeling it? Having fun? Secret tunnel!
Yeah, that was all kinds of right. So what are you doing here?
What are you doing here?
It's a fair question.
We're doing what we're doing.
Why are you doing it here?
Acoustics. Best in Omashu.
Absolutely, love it.
Hear that? Harmony. That's what we're all about. Harmony, music, love.
Nice.
If these guys are okay being here, the tunnels probably aren't that bad.
Tunnels. No, these aren't the tunnels. Those are the tunnels.
Are we gonna see badger moles? Oh, I just get so excited!
Yeah, I want to go in there.
We don't have a choice. We have to find our friend.
Well, in that case, you should probably see this. It's a tale of two lovers. Oma and Shu met on top of the mountain that divided their two villages. The villages were enemies, so they couldn't be together. But their love was strong, so they found a way. They learned earthbending from the badger moles, becoming the first earthbenders. They built elaborate tunnels so that they could meet secretly. But one day, Oma had been killed in an attack. Shu wielded her earthbending power to bring the villages to their knees. She declared the war over. Both villages helped her build a new city where they would live together in peace. The great city was named Omashu as a monument to their love.
I really like this moment.
Love is brightest in the dark. Remember that. Especially if you're going to go into the dark void from which no living being ever returns.
Okay, it's a good thing to remember. Yep.
Secret tunnel
Secret tunnel.
through the mountains. Secret, 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 secret tunnel.
Yay! Good job, guys.
They're doomed.
Now, is there anything I can do to make your journey more comfortable?
I'm fine. Thank you.
These are a little tight. Let me heat them up and allow you to touch them. Oh, that ain't okay. Ah. White Lotus. It's powerful. Very, very powerful.
A word of advice, the direct path is not always the best path.
True.
What is this?
He's helping you become a better avatar, hopefully. Seems a little vindictive. Boomy was so lighthearted before. This is visually stunning.
Boomy, what are you trying to prove?
Maybe I'm trying to show you there are no easy journeys for the Avatar.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I just wanted to play a game, like we did back in the old days. And maybe I just wanted a bite of rock candy.
See, that's the Boomy I like. White Lotus tile.
I'm coming, Uncle.
So proud of you, kiddo. The whole point about this being in the dark was for Katara and Aang to express feelings, which is very early on in the show here, so.
Map's unclear, but I got a hunch.
A hunch?
A hunch, a feeling, an instinct.
I trust his instincts.
My brother, though, he had a soft heart.
He'd gather food and water from his platoon and give them to the children.
He was on watch the night you torched the eastern wall. By the time we put the fires out, there was nothing left of him to bury. I can still smell smoke when I go to sleep at night.
I get his anger.
War pushes us to the edge. Some of us don't like what we find there.
Is that your pitiful way of saying you're sorry for what you did?
I wasn't talking about me.
Sir.
He has every reason to be upset.
You have no humanity.
That's not true.
You know nothing of loss.
That's not true. Everyone has a bad side, just as he told Aang.
He abandoned the siege?
Yes, after his son was killed.
So, his son dies a hero, and he'll be forever known as a coward.
Uncle, what a great honor for you and for Lieutenant to die in the service of the Fire Nation. Lieutenant gave me this. He'd won it for finishing first in his officer class. He said it should belong to someone destined to do great things. He gave me strength.
Oh, that music is killing me.
Lieutenant never needed it because he was the strongest person I knew.
Jet, he helped me through some things.
It's
He lost family,
fine.
just like us.
Yeah.
He knows how those memories can hold you back. He got me to see that I'd only been thinking about how Mom died and not how she lived. Jet might have gone down the wrong path, but he was pushed that way, just like Sai was.
You know, Sai told me I should be an engineer. That was my true calling.
You can be everything.
You believe that?
I don't know. But it was nice to hear someone tell me I had something to offer the world. Besides my superior fighting skills.
You led the tribe and protected us with nobody to help you. Dad never had to bear that kind of burden alone. You had it harder than him.
Oh, I love that moment. I love that moment so much.
It's all about games with you, isn't it, Avatar? Who cares about, oh, saving the world? More fun to goof off, am I right?
What a call out.
Let's play one final game.
They don't have to play him so dark. Although the weird, like, little thing to comment on, the beadwork that is on his robe is absolutely stunning.
As promised.
Here we go.
One final game to play.
Look at that beadwork. It's gorgeous.
The simplest one of all. You versus me.
Armpit hair time!
To the death.
That's really extreme.
This is crazy. How can tunnels change?
Badger moles.
Any chance I imagined that?
Nope. Badger mole. Badger mole. Badger mole. Oh, I want to hug it and pet it and snuggle with it.
Badger mole.
Vegetable! Much better looking than the horse ostrich, my god. Hey, Zuko, baby. It's my boy. Look at him! Badass! Nice! God, he's such a great martial artist. I'm so impressed.
Do it.
Don't do it. He's not going to.
We've all seen enough death.
Didn't you just kill a bunch of people?
That's what you get for showing an Earthbender compassion.
Oof.
You're okay.
We need to go.
Mm-hmm.
I think you should rest.
No
before
time. They'll send more soldiers soon. We have to leave now.
Oh, the badger mole.
Thanks.
Oh, Toph would love this right now.
What's going on? Are we dead?
It's blind. They don't navigate by sight, but by feeling. They sense feelings and react to them. Anger, fear, but mostly love. Love is brightest in the dark.
So they respond to love?
Brotherly and sisterly love.
They do with verbal commands. Excuse me, Mr. Badgermole. We'd really appreciate if you could show us the way to the palace.
Oh yeah, just right through here. He'll make the way for you. We got a badger mole. All right. Armpit hair is so distracting.
Let it fall, and you win.
This isn't a game!
Yes, it is. One that requires you to make impossible choices. Let it fall, Aang, and learn what it means to be the Avatar.
No!
Then the world is doomed.
Not with this kid. Oof. Friends came to help.
Remember this? I use it to call a friend.
Oh. Boomy made his whistle.
Oh, but I do have one more challenge for you.
You gonna race? Oh. Oh, I love that they added that in.
It's not too late.
What are you doing here, Uncle?
Getting ready to embark on what is sure to be a memorable journey.
You want to come with me?
I've come fully prepared. All the tea I need.
I don't need a babysitter.
How about a friend?
My father made it very clear that I'm not to return until I find the Avatar. It could be a very long time before we return home.
He'd love to be there.
Everything I need is on this boat. Like I said, all the tea I need.
And everybody's favorite nephew and uncle. The leaves from the vine are killing me so much. It's like the one time, like the end of an episode, and hearing this music isn't like exciting. Oh my god. I can't wait to buy the soundtrack. Oh my god. Okay, today's episode, the tissue count was 2. Um, I'm exhausted. Hearing just even a little bit of, oh my God. Leaves from the Vine will forever be one of those things that I immediately cry when I hear. Oh my gosh. Again, if you haven't watched the animated series, oh God, you have to watch it. You have to. It's like one of those things that like, you just, it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. And just hearing like a little bit of it, I was like, did I just hear that? And then, it being Iroh talking about Zuko to Aang was just so beautiful. So, I know normally we don't get these interactions between Aang and Uncle Iroh, but it is to, kind of show that like, I'm glad he said the thing about, like everybody has a dark side, everybody has a darkness in them. And, the Earth soldier, kind of like talking about his brother dying and what it was like for war and that it was at the hands of Uncle Iroh, which is hard for all of us who love this man to hear, but we know it's true. He wasn't always the person that he is now, and he had to become this person by what he went through. And losing Lu Ten was so damaging and drastic for Uncle Iroh to experience, and then having Zuko say to him what he said, it was so beautiful. And then with the music playing, oh God, I could just start crying all over again. I'm sorry. Everybody does have a dark side. And, someone reminded me of the quote, and I know it's in a whole different media than ATLA, but, if you look for the light, you'll always find it. And if you look for darkness, it's all you'll ever see. It's so adequate for this episode because, like, even though I do not like the way that they portrayed Boomy in this whatsoever, he was one of my favorite characters. I get so excited every time Boomy was, in any, like, small scene or whatever. It was just phenomenal and it was fantastic. And I really thought the armpit hair was going to bother me. And no, it's the portrayal and the story that we got because he's always like this wacky, kind of crazy, kooky old guy who is just so off the wall. And in this one, he was angry and he was mean. And sometimes he'd say stuff to Aang in the animated series that was kind of bitey, but it was also kind of like trying to teach Aang a lesson. And Aang going through all of his tests and then realizing who the king was, instead of finding out who the king was, and then, there being like this animosity all the way through that he's being treated this way by his friend. Now, rightfully so, in a sense, like this Boomy definitely was angry that he had to take care of these people and that the Avatar abandoned his duties. And, the person he knew Aang to be was not the person that was around for 100 years because he was gone, but he probably expected Aang, the Avatar, to save the world. Now, I don't know how Boomy would have known Aang was the Avatar when Aang didn't know Aang was the Avatar. But I'm guessing he learned this right when he saw Aang and that he was still alive. And that is new information for Boomy, so maybe his anger is justified, but the portrayal is not my favorite. I like kooky, snorty Boomy and trying to teach Aang lessons in his tests about seeing things differently and doing things differently, because that's who Boomy was in the animated series. He was a character that saw things very differently and did things outside of the box, and he was unconventional, and that's what I love the most about him. And trying to teach Aang to not just like always look at things like with tunnel vision, is to look broader, to look deeper, to see things differently. And that's the lesson that I loved that Boomy taught Aang. Now in this, it was more so like almost like Aang wouldn't kill a friend, but was saved by his other friends to, I don't know, teach Boomy that like you can rely on friends, and that it's okay to save the world with a child's mind. I think so too. If you do it with an adult mind, you saw with the earthbending soldier, there's a lot of anger harbored there. And, Aang has every reason to be upset, but he is still a kid, so he still sees things through a kid's lens. And I don't think that that's a bad thing. Now, the combination of the storylines in this episode, I'm not upset about, because the way that they work out, okay, we told certain stories. And it really helped kind of build Sokka and Katara's relationship and them have a moment where, you know, it's brotherly and sisterly love, you know, it's that they care about each other, and the Badger Mole, which I was like so excited for. And I was like, Toph would be so happy right now. That obviously is a side story for Sokka and a story for Aang and Katara. And I'm okay with it. Again, we don't need kid love so soon, so quick, you know, like let them kind of get more into this adventure, and I'm sure it will blossom and it will bloom and it will be wonderful and beautiful and very earned. But I do like that, like, it was their bond, their sibling bond that saved their lives. But like, as soon as I heard that music, I was like, oh my God, no way. This episode, so many musical beats to it that just like either got me super excited or tore me to shreds. Like Secret Tunnel was like, I didn't know if they'd put it in here, and I'm so happy that they did. And that was just, it was perfect. It was so perfect. I love those guys. And, you know, like that whole episode with them in the animated series, sometimes it was just kind of like, oh, drop the hippies and go. But like, then they like deliver like a nice tune and you're like, oh, this is amazing. And the tale of Oma and Shu to form Amashu. Like, I thought that was beautiful animation. I say overall, I liked the episode. I really don't like an angry Boomy. I want a happy Boomy or a fun-loving Boomy. Or like one that's like a prankster and is always playing jokes. And you didn't get to see Momo or Appa. I thought it was very, I feel like you needed to see Momo. Just for something later on in the series. Oh man, but like the Mechanist coming forward and helping Amashu, you know, maybe we don't get the air balloon thing, and that's okay. I'm not saying that it's bad. I'm not saying that I love it either. I'm also somebody who's not going to shit on something just because it wasn't done copy paste from an animated series. I will see it through, but I'm still overall happy and very pleased. Now, would I be as pleased if I didn't have the Zuko Uncle Iroh moments? I don't know. Those really meant a lot to me. My God. And everyone knows that I absolutely love and adore Zuko. Uncle Iroh is one of the greatest written characters in all of television history. He's, you know, the Mr. Miyagi of the last Airbender world. And I absolutely love anytime Paul's on the screen when he's talking to Aang. And I know he's not doing a version of Uncle Iroh. He's doing his version of Uncle Iroh. And I'm happy about that because it's the same thing Greg said when Mako passed away and he took over the role, is that he did not want to do an imitation of Mako. He wanted to do, you know, something a little different. And where it's very seamless in the animated series, with this, I feel like it's the same thing. I feel like even the movie that we shall not talk about, you know, I still liked that Uncle Iroh as well. I didn't love him, and it wasn't anything that I imagined, and, you know, it was a completely different character, but I still liked the acting that we got from him. But in this with Paul, like, just beautiful, like at the funeral, and even Ozai, you know, trying to console his brother in a very Ozai kind of way. It's like, it's such an honor to die in war and the Fire Nation will remember. That's how like military people speak to each other. And then Zuko tried to do that, and it wasn't enough because he cares about his uncle and he loved Lu Ten, and they had a relationship. And Zuko talking to Iroh about Lu Ten. And then Iroh getting on the ship and saying, home, everything I need is on this boat. And it was right after the Agni Kai, which means we still have to wait for that, which is going to break me. It's going to break me. Oh my gosh. But overall, I absolutely loved those moments. I still hold that, you know, episode 2 is definitely my favorite because Kyoshi is still that bitch. But I really am liking this show, even if I find a little bit of frustration that like characters are portrayed different. Like I said, I'm not going to shit on it because I don't expect it to be like the animated series. And if I did, what a disservice that would be to this, because it's a completely different media. Like you have to handle things differently. You don't have a choice. You know, it's not animation. You have to play it like real life, like real people. And I think that they're doing a really, really good job. Now, where we see Boomy again in the future, you know, there's an opportunity for us to still see that silly, goofy Boomy, which I am more than excited to see again. But the armpit hair didn't distract me as much. It did for a hot second, and then I was just like, yeah, him being mean to Aang is really the thing that's sticking out to me the most. But I did like the earthbending in that. I thought that was brilliant. I thought it was great. The Asaka and Katara sweeping in to help, I thought was equally great because, again, what we need is them working together and having these moments where they bond and they grow. And, you know, that's a moment that like happened that I feel like is very earned to move forward into like the next step of helping each other. Katara kind of like telling Jet, like, you know, I did this for myself. I didn't do it for you. The freezing moment, I remember seeing that in the animated series and just absolutely being like, yeah, Katara, you know your worth, you know your strength, and it is not because of this boy. It is because of you, and it's because of your heart and your mom. And you know, like in the tunnel when she kind of tells Sokka, like, you're not dad. I think any boy probably felt that on a visceral level. If they like really loved and adored their father, and that was the person they look up to and idealize, and then the only person left that like is your family, you know, that's with you, that you've depended on and love and care about, says you're nothing like him or you're not like him at all, that cuts really hard. And I think Katara knew that was like the thing that would hurt, but also she later on says, like, you know, dad could never do what you're doing, and you know, this is so much harder for you than it would ever have been for dad. You know, I love that she said that because she recognized that like Sokka is a very brave person and he is very intelligent. That's why like when he's talking about being an engineer, I was like, kid, you can be both. You can be a great warrior and an engineer. And Hiccup, just saying, Hiccup is also one of those things. So, you know, Sokka can do both. I know he can because he is a king and he can wear those crowns 100%. Okay, guys, if you want to watch the full introduction to this episode, it will be available on my Patreon. But remember to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. How did you feel about Boomy? I know that is a loaded question, and some of the comments have been very chippy. And, you know, I always say, like, look for the positive in things. And what I will say is that, you know, we got a moment with Boomy and Aang where Aang got to prove that, like, you know, he's going to save the world with his friends, and that, like, Boomy might have that ruminating in the back of his mind that, you know, Aang still sees him as a friend. You know, so it not all is lost, but I am fairly disappointed with the portrayal of Boomy, and I really was worried that it was going to be a caricature and it was going to look silly and stupid, and instead it turned out just kind of grumpy. He's grumpy. He has a right to be grumpy. Every person that is mad at the other person has every right. You know, those are their feelings. They're completely valid. I am definitely the person that, like, is not saying, like, your feelings are wrong. So if you don't like what's going on and you don't like the show, you're not wrong. Just don't be mean about it. That's the biggest thing is, like, just don't be mean. And Boomy was mean. Boomy was really mean. But I absolutely loved the Zuko and Iroh moments. What did you guys think of those? Did you also cry when you heard the little ding, ding, ding of leaves on the vine? How excited were you for Secret Tunnel? I use that in real life. Like I was in Portugal and we went through like a little tunnel, and I just like was in the car and I was like, Secret Tunnel, you know, and like people giggled because like the people that knew. So it was just like really fun. It was a lot of fun. And like, you know, hearing them and seeing them, and it's like, hey man, oh, you don't want to go through that tunnel, man. Like, oh, they're doomed. Like, I thought was just like really great. And it was really nice to see those guys. And like I said, how they're writing the stories, it does change the way the characters interact in the show, in the animated show, as opposed to like this show. And I'm willing to see it through because, like, to me, I don't think those exact moments have to happen the way that they happen in that show. They can happen in other ways. And I don't want to copy paste of those necessarily because it does take a lot of the heart out of it when you're just like, oh, and now this, you know. So I do like the beats that we're hitting. And I think that the sacrifices of certain storylines and certain ways to tell that story are okay. But like I said before I even started, you know, if it's even 50% as good as the animated series, we're doing great. We're doing so great. The bar is set so incredibly high because how do you recreate magic? How do you recreate something like Avatar: The Last Airbender? You can't, but you can shift. And that's the thing with my expectations, is that I've shifted my expectations. And I did that going into it because I was like, I'm not going to try to expect that because that is so unfair to the people making this show. Now, if I watched the first episode and I thought it was shit, like I would tell you guys, like I don't want to say those things, but I also won't hold back. So definitely looking forward to the next couple episodes, except I know that there's an Agni Kai in my future that's probably going to break me. And I don't want to say I'm looking forward to it because I am not, but I am. Yeah. Whew. Okay, guys, on that note, I'll see ya. Secret tunnel, secret tunnel.